Yo, welcome to another episode of the BJJ GOONS podcast. I'm your host, Tim the Mushmaster Spriggs, and with me, as always, every week is my co-host.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Nico Ball. No new car problems this week. Finally able to make it into the studio. Feeling fantastic about that.
AKA Miss Jiffy Lube.
Hey. It's an Exxon. I take my joint to an Exxon.
Wait, I thought Exxon was just a gas station.
There's like a gas station with like a Metro PCS. I don't know. It's city thing. I found a place on Capitol Hill that's actually affordable, which is a small miracle because like a couple blocks down the street, it's like 300 to 400 extra for the same kind of work, which is ridiculous.
Well, now you're here. You're in the studio. Shout out to Mark Banks, the homie, for coming through earlier today. We were filming some exclusive Patreon content. Remember, folks, if you want to get all the uncensored, unruly, turned up BJJ GOONS content that you're looking for,
Or if you also just want some technique questions answered, because that's what you were doing today with Mark. Don't act like you're always being inappropriate. We were going over techniques today.
Yes, we go over a lot of techniques, and I have to say I'm pretty proud of myself. It was in one take. One take, Timmy. I go in. Nico, I think that we could definitely make a whole bunch of DVDs and instructionals. I think we could do like Tupac did and just do like an album a day or some crazy stuff.
I think you should not mention it or the people are going to ask for it. So we're just going to like come out with it. But it's already been said.
We're going to drop it like Beyonce's album.
Now we got the pressure.
So if you guys want all that great content for us, go to patreon.com/BJJGoons, the best Patreon in all of jiu-jitsu. So Nico, you're here on the show. Obviously your car works. So let's catch up. What's new with you this week? What's going on?
I mean, no major issues this week, really. Like, I still have the MRI stuff to deal with, which is kind of on the shelf because I need to wait for them to mail my results, and then I need to find a new doctor. So I just kind of put that off, and I've just been working on work, really. Had a day off on... No, I say I have a day off when I only have to work like 2 or 3 of the jobs. So I had like a morning off on Tuesday. It was relaxing, nice weather. I got some sewing done, working on some merch. Been looking for patches. Patches are hard as hell to find. Screw all of these ink press, screw all these people.
Screen press, ink press.
Screen press, all you people that are getting ink on your knees and not patches. It's made the patch market like kind of sketchy.
Sketchy how?
Sketchy is it's hard to find, like, unless you're going to, like, Alibaba. I was trying to get something, but then there was, like, the Chinese New Year and all that other stuff. It's an interesting journey when you're trying to deal with merch from different angles, from patches to vinyls for heat pressing, like...
And it's tough because you want to give people good quality stuff, and that requires a lot of time to create it, but it's a lot of money to invest, not just in getting the right stuff, but going through the journey of getting the right stuff. It's just a very time consuming, but it makes the product that much sweeter.
Yeah.
And people appreciate good stuff.
And you know what I had to do to actually find it? I just had to hit up another I had to hit up another BJJ person like us. There's a dude in New York, and I think he trains with Marcelo. He's got this thing called Focus Brand International, so he does like rash guards. He has like shorts, and his thing is like no sad stories. So I was like, this man has rash guards. I know he's got to know where to get patches, and like he did at a good price. So whenever you need something, just look inside the community. Not to the racists inside the community, but there are good people.
Yeah, we're going to get to that later. So with me, I had, once again, to face the most difficult opponent I've ever faced in my life, the IRS. Thank God, shout out to my auntie for hooking me up. She is a tax professional, Gloria Spriggs. If you guys ever need any work with your taxes, go to Gloria Spriggs, because auntie, you hooked it up. The government owes me money now. Like, I'm happy. I'm getting a little refund check.
That's gotta be hard. What do you do, like, for your taxes? Because everything you own is, like, everything you earn is contract, 1099, like...
I can't really go into detail because, one, I don't really know. But two, I don't want people all up in my business. But I will say that I do a very good job of accounting. I keep track of everything that I spend for the business, everything that I spend personally, and I just write an inventory and I go through it. And, I don't cut corners. I'm very thorough when it comes to it, and I got a lot of good help. And, I mean, that's all it takes. It just takes one day or two to just sit down and do it. But, man, it's worth it, man. Now Uncle Sam owes me money. It's not what I deserve. I mean, I still want my 40 acres and a mule. Y'all still owe me reparations. But, damn. It was pretty good. I beat Uncle Sam this year.
Yeah, what was I here? I heard something on the 85 South show. It was like, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And like that's really the case with the IRS. Because I still, like I was saying last episode, negotiating a lot of money for health insurance that I had, and they said I didn't, and this and that, and they owe me a nice little chunk of change for that.
It's a war of attrition when you're dealing with the government, man.
Yeah, you gotta stay educated. Stay educated.
And don't do your own taxes, or else you will be ending up like Wesley Snipes. So make sure you hit up my aunt Gloria Spriggs. She's an accountant. Hit her up. Support black businesses. A good bit of news for us next is very soon we will be having our first official commentary gig.
Hey, yeah, that's what's up. Randori. It's not Randori MMA.
No, it's the Randori Jiu-Jitsu Championship. So Professor Hogan, he hooking us up, man. Like, really, shout out to Randori. Shout out to that academy. I mean, Al Hogan, heck, he's really hooking it up. He's giving us an opportunity to commentate on the Randori Jiu-Jitsu Championships. It's going to be 10 fights, 20 competitors, obviously, but 10 matches.
Thing, right?
Yes, it's going to be an in-house, but it's invitation only. And I'm really excited. We don't have a set date yet, but, we're doing everything on the back end to try to set it up. If you guys love listening to the podcast, you're going to love our commentary. We are already in commentary training. I'm preparing. I already got the suit picked out. I am so excited. So when we get more information about the Randori Jiu-Jitsu Championship, we will sure as hell let you know. But we will be commentating.
That's going to be what's up. That's going to be like the first time I really stepped back out into the BJJ community. And
the first time?
Yeah, I mean, like, you go to TLI. I don't even go to the gym. I stay in my little bubble. I haven't been to a competition. You went to Fight to Win. Like, yeah, I've been in my bubble.
Yeah, that is true. How are you going to feel going out there around these people, like breathing the same air as them, like a bunch of strangers?
At this point, I'm going to feel good because, one, it's work. And two, I'm not actually doing the jiu-jitsu with them. So, like, that's my whole thing, like, about, like, I don't know, this competition and everybody, like, going out and about, like, especially, like, everybody that's down in Orlando because you're flying in from all over the place. But the vaccine's popping out now, so, hey, got to get in where you fit in, right?
Yeah, you got to get that microchip already, Nico.
That microchip, yeah. I keep hearing about that again. Because all these other people, like the conspiracy theorists that are really paranoid about the vaccine and all that. And I'm kind of, like, paranoid about it. Like, I'm not a big fan of the vaccine. But I need to travel, and I'm a big fan of the bag in this moment. And, like, being locked out, I need to go to Rio, like, personal things, business things. So I don't want to be, like, locked out of being able to travel. Plus, we all know I'm trying to take my ass to Portugal and Angola. So if I need to get a vaccine to do it, then I'm going to hop in that line right quick.
Why are you apprehensive about getting the shot? You don't want a microchip in Saudi?
No, I don't want a microchip. I don't want any random weird side effects to be popping up afterwards. Like, I don't want to go through the process of having to sign up and wait in line. Well, I guess I am signed up and waiting for an appointment because I do qualify. But then at the same time, as a teacher, I don't want them to be like, you have the vaccine and you're going to go in and work with all these students, and my students are adults and be essential workers. So it's like the highest risk of, like, I feel being in a school. I see kids in schools. More power to you. Like, I have a coworker that was out there as a hall monitor. I was like, I'll quit before you get me to go sit there with the whole face mask for 8 hours a day with kids. Maybe it's a little bit better with elementary, middle school. You think they're a little bit more, self-contained, but no, all my kids are out there working.
Is there a way that you can get it without your school knowing?
No, because I only kind of qualified through them. Like, I don't care. Like, I mean, I have no qualms with them telling me to go back and me not being okay with it and quitting either. Like, I always have that kind of zero fucks to give attitude with this job. And it's really bad because I do like my job, but, like, I do so much. And, like Aaron was saying, I'm all about my mental health, like, you know, and if like mentally it really does, like I really do get paranoid about it. It is kind of like a mind fuck in some sense. So it's like I'm making enough money, and it's like I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to be working from like 9 a.m. to 9 at night, and then also be really worried about like this whole corona thing. Like when schools locked down, I went to my school one time and there was like a potential case of exposure. So I got like this random text message on a Saturday. It fucked up my whole weekend, and then they wouldn't give me any information. They're like, "Well, go to a doctor." So I'm not doing that. Like, why would I do that? Like, I'll quit before you put me through that. Like,
And go to the doctor with the shitty health insurance or some cases
Yeah,
lack
it's
of
like-
insurance that people have.
they wouldn't even tell me with like in the time that I was in the building, which was only 30 minutes, if I had contact with that person or if I might have. Like that person, like they wouldn't give me any information, and that's just kind of what a job is. All my other jobs, I do what I want to do. It's like the 10 people in the building. Like in my day job, if we find out like you've been somewhere where literally they do jujitsu, so they literally might fuck you up, but like they're gonna go in on you. We're gonna curse you out, and we're gonna tell you how you feel. It's not like, oh, in an actual 9-to-5 job where you don't really have control over it.
Yeah. So the moral of the story, kids, is be your own boss so you don't have to deal with that bullshit.
Also, maybe meditate. Yeah, I do have attitude issues. I work on that. I'd be working on it.
You know, from a very young age, I've had to work on my anger issues, and what we're going to go over later, it came in good use, but I think meditating will help. But sometimes, man, sometimes you just got to go in, especially on some shit like this. Like, sometimes you really just got to go in on somebody, and I think it's somewhat therapeutic.
You gotta get it off your chest.
Yes, you got to get it off your chest. What else is very therapeutic, at least for me, is I'm back to teaching privates a lot more.
Nice.
You know, I taught a couple privates the other day. It's been very fulfilling for me. I like teaching. Don't get me wrong. I'm still retired. Like, I'm done competing for a living for the time being, probably forever. However, I like teaching, and I like more specifically teaching younger people because it's a challenge. But also, it's so rewarding because of their eagerness to learn. And then, you know, you just see the gears move around in their head, because when you're a young person, it's like everything you do is kind of just like new, and like you're just really involved. You know, when you're teaching with adults, they got a whole lot of shit going on. They got ulterior motives for why they train. What's so funny? You know, it's true.
No, like, that's why I'm laughing. I was like, no, because you gotta navigate all those attitudes, this and that.
Yes.
Like,
But when you're teaching a kid, or a younger person, like a teenager or something, they're just like, all right, we're here. Like, we're here now. And maybe we're losing this along the timeline of what we go through in life. Not just for us, but as society. But I feel as though you talked about meditation. Younger people have more mindfulness than adults. Like when I was teaching the other day, like the young people I was teaching, it was all like they would play around, but it was like, we're doing this now. We're not like on some other shit. Like, we're doing this now. This is our thing, and we're committed. And I see that commitment more in younger people. And it reminds me when I was younger, because I had this little game that when I teach kids sometimes, where it's like, all right, we're drilling this, but you have to do it right 10 times in a row, or else we got to start back at 0. And it's so funny because they get so focused and they try so hard that they mess up. It's hilarious because like they're not really upset, but they're like, oh man,
yeah,
really?
they know there's consequences.
There's consequences. And it's so funny. It reminds me when I was a kid and me and my pops would play catch, and you know, he would play college football and he was a tight end, but that was the time where he played at a time when like tight ends didn't really catch the football. You probably don't know what I'm talking about, Nico, but all the guys that watch sports know. So like he was a big stickler on technique. Like, you have to catch the ball with your hands. You can't try to catch it with your body. You're gonna catch 100 in a row, and if you drop one, we start back at 0. So it's always fun because it makes it fun, and like kids do this shit for fun. And it reminded me of a time when I would do things, or I would do martial arts, and it wasn't to be a fighter. It wasn't for any other shit other than it was fun. And part of it was too, I knew that it was going to help me become a more fully formed adult or person. And, you know, it's very inspiring, and it was very refreshing to do. So that's one of the main things that's new with me, and I really enjoyed it. I like teaching people. We just filmed some Q&As earlier today, and it was great because I got to share the knowledge. And it's always good to have someone that kind of asks you for help and wants to learn from you. And it makes me remember, oh shit, I do know a lot.
Yeah. In fact, you do. It was a great video. It was a great video.
So yeah, we got new Patreon content coming out. Well, this is the first, it's April Fool's Day, but it's not a joke. We have new Patreon content coming out today. It is our bonus episode with Aaron Hurley about sex, drugs, and jiu-jitsu. So remember, go to patreon.com/BJJ GOONS for all that Patreon content.
Because by the time you hear that, that episode will have dropped a week ago. Today, when you're hearing this, should be the time where we drop the Q&A. We haven't really discussed when we're going to drop it, so, it'll be a surprise. And just make sure you're signed up for that Patreon.
For sure. So, Nico,
That was the easy part.
That was the easy part, but let's get into it. So,
Current events. We're moving on to current events.
Current events.
Tim's been going through some shit, we've all been going through some shit, and I think, that's the issue. If you're dumb enough to not realize that people are going through some shit, and we need a little bit of sensitivity in the timing of what we put on our platforms on social media. If people are unaware that they have a voice and a platform, well, then that's the problem with them, and not like... So, you want to give the intro? I think people already kind of know what we're talking about. Maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't, but by the time this gets released, it should have circulated around the airwaves. Let's get into the shits, Nico. Cyborg and his neon neck technique.
His famous neon neck technique.
I've seen him do the neon neck technique before.
But there's a timing aspect to it.
So let me just do the breakdown for you. So Cyborg posted a video of his neon neck technique. The reason why the timing is off is because for the last year, we've been dealing with the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd by Derek Chauvin, who does jiu-jitsu. And you know what's ironic about this video? So let's get a little bit deeper into this video. I believe the person, I know for sure that the person in the video that was getting attacked with it was a black person. From the screenshot that I saw, it looked like an African American person. And somebody told me that it was Stephen Pesadello Hall that was getting done to. You heard that too, right, Nico?
Yes, I did.
Someone who is, let's be honest, there are a lot of black belts, but our representation is not there. And he's one of the people that I referenced in the Flow Grappling segment that I did. When I first started doing jiu-jitsu, I didn't see too many black people and very few black Americans doing this, and he was one of the people that I noticed. So he's doing it to a black guy, and this whole year we've had to deal with Derek Chauvin murdering George Floyd in cold blood on camera and having to see it over and over again or see screenshots. And it just so happens that this week was the beginning of the trial for Derek Chauvin. And ironically, a few months ago, Derek Chauvin's jiu-jitsu instructor was online making jest of the attack on George Floyd as well. And Steve put up a post about it, and his post got taken down for it. So already we see the connection between white supremacy and terrorism within the jiu-jitsu community. And this guy, Cyborg, decides that of all weeks, of all days, the same day that the people on the stand are crying, recounting the incident, that he puts a video of himself putting his knee on a black person's neck and sharing the post and thinking that it's fucking cool. Some of the comments even called the technique the quote-unquote George Floyd choke. That's super disrespectful. So he's already crossed the line twice. And what's even more disrespectful is that when the brother Dom Hoskins calls him out for it on the comments, he does the old tried and true excuse that everyone likes to pull nowadays. I didn't know. I don't watch the news, or I'm apolitical. I'm too busy living my life. All I do is train. I don't know what's going on in the world. So after he uses that excuse and he gets flack for it in the comments, he starts doing the blocking. He starts blocking people. And then like a little bitch, like a spineless little bitch that he is, he put the fucking post down. And you know what he does next? What does he do next, Nico?
He finds a black friend, that he finds that token black friend that everybody needs and makes a public apology saying, I want to first apologize to anyone that was offended by the technique that I posted. It was in no way connected to the events currently happening. I love everyone and respect all. Fight Sports was founded on the principle that everyone is welcome and will always be. Again, if I offended anyone, I truly apologize and ask for forgiveness. We are blessed by your support with my brother, black brother, Brian Fury. So it's like the apology was needed. It might have been okay. Did we really have to find a token black person to add into the picture, or could you just man up to what you did on your own? And then we have like insensitive assholes like Gordon Ryan that wants to say, my God, people are soft. Just want to complain about fucking everything. Keep posting whatever you want. Because, asking for a little bit of empathy, some decency, some respect to human life on the week that, the George Floyd trial is happening is a little bit too much for Gordon Ryan. Thanks for that one, buddy. Just comes off like real assholes. There are a lot of people in there like commenting, oh, it's sad that you have to apologize. People are so soft. But like when you're talking about a man being tortured and murdered and it being dragged across the TV and media over a year, knowing that nothing is going to happen to them, fuck you if you think we're being soft about it or being offended. That's just really messed up situation.
I'm about to go in, Nico, and we might have to edit this, but I don't give a shit. So,
Get ready.
First and foremost, both of those guys, Gordon Ryan and Cyborg, are racist asshole bitches. They talk all this shit about how people are sensitive, but God forbid someone goes in the comments on them and they try to just talk so much shit, and they have a whole bunch of racist trolls or bots that ride their dick and just let shit slide, okay? I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm not no gangster. I'm not some like glorified tough guy, but I had a couple people in my life have to talk me off the ledge from taking the first flight, non-Spirit, to Miami to go talk to this man. These guys come on here and they say this racist shit and they do all this fucking talking, but when they're in person around people, they're all nice and friendly. They're super respectful or they avoid conflict. I'm not no fucking Andre Galvao. Like, I keep that same energy, but these people don't want to keep the same energy that they keep on.
That you're here on today.
What is going on?
God.
What is going on? What is
That
going on?
sounded like a preacher, actually.
It is.
God just intervened.
God just intervened. But listen, like I was saying, these guys talk all this racist shit online, but they don't ever say it to black people in person. They never say that shit. And I think that people can just hide online and they think they're safe when they're not fucking safe. And the thing is, like, it's frustrating because I'm a black person. I do jujitsu. So I have to deal with it all the time. I got to deal with the racism in the real world. Also, I got to deal with the racism in the sport. My team was fucking blackballed. Because we're black, basically. Because if I'm going to keep it 100, they said our whole team is this, our whole team is a bunch of sex predators and all this shit, when Cyborg, one of his gym owners, was a fucking child molester. You got people in Henzo's going around town, and I've heard it from multiple people that they're wearing Henzo Philly gear and they're beating up peaceful protesters, and they're just a bunch of thugs.
I mean, some people just get away with it. And,
They're not, but here's the thing, Nico. The problem is that they got away with it too much, and thank God that I was talked out of going down there and talking to them. Like, we were talking about this before the show, but I was dead ass serious.
Yeah. I mean, it's frustrating. It's aggravating to see. And, like, I believe that, like, Cyborg might have, like, really been ignorant. Maybe he didn't have bad intentions, but that's not really excusable. Like, I mean, especially when you have a platform and you have people looking for you, and like a lot of people will probably like speak against that and be like, yeah, it's jujitsu, it's whatever, like they separate jujitsu from the social things, but that's not actually how it is.
It's not how it is, Nico. It's not how it is. And what's frustrating even more is that he had a token black guy on there.
That just seemed like so pointless. Like, what did that dude have to do with it? Yeah, so it's just like, speak from the heart. Like, be real. Like, if you fucked up, say you fucked up. Like, people fuck up all the time. Like, I fuck up all the time. I have to tell people all the time after speaking with them, like, I'm sorry if I came off like a bitch, you know? Like, that's just the way I kind of come off, my tone. I'm aggressive. Like,
but when you say something, you say it with your chest, right?
yeah, like...
You say it with your fucking chest. And if someone tries to hold you account, you stand on it. But I'm sure that all these guys, they go online and say this crazy shit and repost and reshare it, they don't keep that same energy. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of just, I don't know any other jiu-jitsu guys that go through this besides black guys, but it's always some white dude in my mentions saying some reckless shit about how I suck or like my team's a bunch of rapists and all that bullshit. You know how many times I had to tell somebody suck my dick? I'm dead serious. And to me, it's like if you tell someone to suck your dick, that means like we have crossed the line of disrespect. And I've been disrespected. And I found that it was disrespectful. Like, no, I don't know George Floyd. I don't know anybody that knows George Floyd. But I say that's a slap in my face. That's like you talking about my mother. And I'm sick of having to deal with it in jiu-jitsu.
It's like to say that you don't have any black students that might be affected by this situation. People that were close to him that might have been triggered by you posting that. Like, you can't tell me it's just like a bro club down there where it's just all Brazilian and white.
No, it's not like that. And I'm kind of glad that I'm kind of stepping away from jiu-jitsu because I feel as though it's like my moral obligation to check these people in person, and I don't want to go to jail. I'm being dead ass serious. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail, but I feel like at what point do we as a jiu-jitsu community say, fuck all this, like it's jiu-jitsu, it's just a game and this is real life shit? Because there's two type of ethos, Nico. There's the martial arts ethos and there's the warrior ethos. And I think that we have gone past the point in jiu-jitsu where it's just martial arts now. Because with the martial arts ethos, martial arts is basically like we're learning and we're experimenting, and whether we choke each other out in a tournament or we're boxing or kickboxing, we're doing a game. That's the martial arts ethos. But when people just start going online being overly disrespectful, when they're making jokes of something that's a domestic terrorist attack where you just murdered somebody in cold blood and you're kind of getting away with it, and people are just saying, oh, it's just a joke, and people still keep going in, it's flipped over to the warrior ethos. And I'm a person that believes in honor. And there's this thing called death before dishonor. And at a certain point, it's like, you're not just going to disrespect me and my race of people and just think it's fucking okay. And I'm at my wit's end. Like, Cyborg's a bitch. I will say it to his face, and like honestly, like he can come and say something to me, and he's gonna have to stand on it. If I see him, I'm gonna be like, yo, you thought that shit was cool? Start G-checking these people. We've been doing this for a year, Nico. How long have we been doing this podcast together for?
For about a year now, yeah.
I know you probably feel real uncomfortable right now me saying this, but I'm being dead serious.
I know. I mean, it needs to be said.
But like we've been doing this for a year, right?
Yeah.
One of the first videos we did was about Black Lives Mattering, how it's not cool, and then you see people in the jiu-jitsu community doing it, right? At what point is it like it goes beyond just arm bars and collar drags, and it's become some shit like, all right, we just gonna have to handle this in the parking lot?
I mean, I think a lot of people have been desensitized. Like, we were talking a lot before we started filming, not only about Cyborg, but that other shit that happens in football. Like, again, with the massage parlors, there's, like, nothing positive in the news. If the massage parlors aren't getting shot up, we got shit like ballers that actually have money. What is it? Deshaun Watson, who is being like accused of, I don't even know what the charge is, like sexual harassment, pulling out his dick during massages, like, and I totally believe like that he did it and that he was paying people off until he pissed the white man off. Like, like, and then I just had to like really look inside of myself. It was like, you know, I've been sexually assaulted or sexually harassed so many times with such frequency, like that it's just normal by some people that like, yeah, I 100% think he did it. Like, and then Mark was over here like, damn, Shorty, and I was like, man, like maybe I really am jaded, but like my experiences historically has shown that normal people would do it. So why wouldn't somebody that clearly has money on top to get away with it? Thoughts?
Thoughts about people having money and getting away with it, and how it relates to what we're talking about now?
Yeah.
Well, before we get into the Stop Asian Hate thing, I think money protects people because these people are popular, and there's a whole industry behind them. Cyborg has affiliation, Cyborg has fans, and they have people that are so loyal that even if we say we want to hurt these people's pockets, it's not going to affect them. People like Gordon Ryan and all these other guys that say racist shit, Henzo, all of them got money behind them. They got wealthy friends that are virtually their sugar daddies that are going to help them and support them either way. You got the media behind these guys that don't hold them accountable. But they're media, they're not journalists. But when you're a part of the media and you're part of the media machine, you have power.
I mean, but if you want to like look at it like Flow Grappling says they're not media, they do events, which is their stance, but like not how people perceive them, which I think is an issue.
Perception is reality.
Yep.
And that's the thing. You got to understand your responsibility. We're media, Nico. We's the media. But if I came on here and started saying some stupid shit or some reckless shit or gave the youth that probably listen to this show some kind of bad information, whether it's legally right or wrong, whether it's in name or not or wrong, we have a responsibility. So
I mean, they haven't even touched it. If you go on Flow Grappling, it's just Gordon Ryan, whatever he did at Fight to Win, he called it, who's next. So it's just like, and that's the thing, and that's why Cyborg, like when Cyborg's like, I had no idea what's going on. It's like, just because it's not like news on Flow Grappling doesn't mean it's relevant and doesn't make you an asshole for being that ignorant to post something like that after a man was murdered using it. Like, you could have used your favorite technique and launched that to be a movement for awareness and a lot of positive things, but you didn't. Like, and people to think like, oh, that's normal and that's okay, because there is no other platform other than one that's not a certified news one. And I mean, people have to like I don't know. It's just, people disappoint me.
I'm not even disappointed because I'm not surprised by now. But I will say this: it's not even on the martial arts thing anymore for me, because I'm retired. So I'm not even gonna ask for a match. But if I see you, we just have a discussion. I'm just have to have my bail money ready. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, just do better, people. Just do better and check people. Check people. Don't let that shit slide. No, the times are over for letting it slide because people are dying out here. And I take it dead serious. It's not no martial arts ethos anymore. This is a warrior ethos for me. This is an honor thing. And I'm going to keep telling these herbs that disrespect me to suck my dick. Bottom line, I'm going to keep doing it too. So let's talk about this Stop Asian Hate thing that we have on here.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry for being on my phone. Shout out to Barbin. He's like currently dropping gis off for me in Rio. I always have mules doing everything, picking up some hats for me. What?
See, we got shit going on here. We're sorry about the phones
and like
going
it's gonna beep a couple more times on this podcast because WhatsApp is open on my computer and we're filming on my computer. So thank you, our listeners, for dealing with the struggle. But yeah,
this is live TV. This is the real deal that y'all asked for. Like, this is live TV. This is recorded, but this is live. We do all these in one shot. So.
Oh yeah, I always get questions. Like, I get comments from this person, like when he listens to the episode. So I forgot to ask you this question, and I know you'll text me the answer when you hear this episode. You're coming from a massage in Copacabana. Was it a massage with a happy ending, or was it a normal massage? Let me know.
The person you're asking, not me, right?
Yeah, the person I'm asking, he's a listener.
I have never participated in sex tourism, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, anyway.
I'm just saying. I just want to clarify. She's not asking me. She's asking her person. I don't do that kind of stuff. So, stop Asian hate. There has been an increase in hate crimes against Asian people, our Asian brothers and sisters. In Atlanta, there was a shooting of 3 spas and massage parlors, amongst other incidences. So, what are your thoughts on this and how it relates to what we're kind of talking about?
I mean, when I first heard about it, like, it seemed more like a fetish thing. Like, he said he was addicted to sex and sex parlors. So I guess it's like an Asian hate thing. I felt it was like more of one man that had a sexual issue and not necessarily a widespread problem. It's definitely messed up. As a woman, like, I felt some kind of way about it. You know, that kind of thing happens a lot. We just talked about, you know, the Asian hate thing happened. Then you talk about women being sexually harassed potentially by a football player. It's just like there's a lot of vulnerability in it. The whole thing about why black people aren't stepping up to champion Asian problems and why we're not being better allies at this time is like really confusing, and I think really takes away from like focusing on what happened, and like the mental illness aspect and like the fact that just women in general are unprotected, because we've taken this to like a Black Lives Matter thing, and I'm not sure why, but you know, it's just crazy.
You're just noticing a lot of. You feel like black people are somehow getting thrown on the bus through something that really don't even involve us right now, is what you're saying.
I mean, that's kind of what the political stance that has been taken, or people are going
Really?
off on. Yeah.
Damn, man, we stay getting shitted on. Ain't that a bitch?
So, like, when I hear about the incident, I hear more about, like, black people's involvement in it than I do about the incident. And then, like, that, again, is my problem when we're taking focus off of the victims and we're making it something political.
And I saw the post that you put on our Instagram post. Can you reiterate it or summarize it for us if you can?
Yeah, let me, like, read this one out. And again, like, because when you talk about, like, okay, it's not our responsibility to champion black hate or champion everybody's hate crimes, but, you know, you really do have to be aware of it. You can't just be ignorant to facts. So what did we share?
And the comments on there were very interesting. There was a few that I was kind of like, you're kind of missing the point, buddy. Whenever you say something.
It says, "Dear martial arts community, fighters, trainers, teachers, professors, brands, fans, organizations, promotions, practitioners, I would love to be hearing more from all of you right now. Support and protect Asian lives like you enjoy and profit off of Asian culture."
That was dope. And I agree with it. I totally co-sign that message, because this is martial arts content at the end of the day that we provide, and to ignore the contribution to our Asian brothers our Asian brothers and sisters have contributed to martial arts would be short-sighted, which is why I hate the whole American Jiu-Jitsu movement, because it whitewashes the accomplishments of people of color, whether they be Brazilian, because for whatever reason we just want to shit on Brazilians now, or we want to take all these martial arts techniques that originate in that part of the world. I mean, they have martial arts in Africa, they have martial arts all throughout Asia, and for us to ignore it and whitewash it, it's one of the examples of we love such and such culture, insert non-white culture, but we hate the people that are of the culture. And it's very troubling to see all this. It's very troubling that within a generation, we're trying to kind of ignore the contributions of people from Brazil. And if you look at this beef that's been stirred up, it's just a whole bunch of shit and negativity getting stirred up. And then people are just getting the bag with it. Whether we want to admit it or not, a lot of the people that are in the jiu-jitsu niche, that are famous, that say this fucked up stuff, they're getting the bag. Because there's no such thing as bad press. There's no such thing as bad engagement. It's engagement. So motherfuckers are still getting attention, and attention is clout, and we live in the clout currency era. Clout is the currency, and it's contributing to it, and it's all negativity. And I hate it. It's very xenophobic. It's very racist. And it's pervasive in our society. Like within the last 10 years, we've had so much kind of like low key like Asian fear or like Chinese fear. Like there's this whole undercurrent in this country where it's like we're losing to China.
I mean, there's always fear of some other. There's like a perpetual enemy, just like in 1984. There's a perpetual enemy.
Yeah, but that doesn't help. I think that contributes to this shit.
It definitely does.
Because like you're saying like China's a bad guy because we're losing. Like I feel as though like there are other European countries that are just building on that level. But I feel like if it wasn't Asian, if China wasn't an Asian country, it was a European country, and we had deals with them like we do with them, there wouldn't be a fucking issue. We've lived in our homes basically for a year, and we got people saying the China virus like a fucking joke, or people fucking believe it. And then we see all these attacks on people, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then we got people now that are just trying to just shit on whether they're Asian, whether they're South American, their contributions to the art form. Like, damn, like really? We're just gonna totally just wipe them off the board and just be disrespectful? It's very troubling. And that's how I can kind of correlate it to what we talk about on the show, because these are, like the post you put, there were people giving you flack on the post. There are people that were feeling some type of way on the post.
It's like, why? It's like, we can't take a minute. Like, we posted everything about Black Lives Matter. We're going to take a minute just to post something to acknowledge this issue and like not let it go by without at least acknowledging something happened. You don't have to like rally around it with like your whole heart, but to like at least have a little empathy for the victims, you know, for the people that are struggling, that are fighting. Like I know very well, like Teddy told me one time, not even Jesus Christ could save everybody. Like I have my niche, the people that I help, I have my demographic, but I support everybody that like, you know, our guest Shy, like she fights really hard for incarcerated women. Like that is not my demographic. Mine is more like young athletes from Brazil. So it's like everybody has somebody they're trying to help. And like I am not like gung-ho on, you know, the Asian struggle, nor am I very hip to it, but it's like, you can't just let it go and just not care about it, not think about it, not want to try to at least, you know, make a post in solidarity with people, and you still get shit about that. But people give a shit about everything, you know? Like,
fuck
whatever. Fuck them.
If haters hate, then let them hate and watch the money pile up. That's what I always say. The last segment we have that we're going to talk about, it relates to being a martial artist. And I don't know, did we talk about on the last episode how you had the ninja training?
Oh, yeah.
Or was it Patreon content?
That might have been, that was Patreon, I think, because we were talking about how you started.
Yeah, we talked about how we started jiu-jitsu, and I think one of the tenets of martial arts is self-discipline, self-defense, but very important is awareness of your surroundings. And we are in the DMV, that's DC, Maryland, Virginia. And this incident that occurred last week?
I think it was last week. It was very recently.
Very recently in D.C., which is right by your crib.
A metro stop away.
A metro stop away. A 13 and a 15-year-old participated in a carjacking that resulted in the death of an Uber Eats driver.
He was a normal Uber driver, I think, because he was picking him up.
I know.
So, like, I'm a little confused as to how the episode started, but the fact of the matter is the girls tried to carjack him with a taser. One of them was in the driver's seat and one of them was in the passenger seat, and that's why I'm unaware if like he was outside of his car at one time and like just trying to get back in. And I brought this up with Tim, and it's just like really thinking about it. It's like he was trying to stop the crime. And even as a martial artist, I think, like, if I was in that situation, like, what do you do? As a registered gun owner, I know that, like, you cannot use your gun or deadly force to protect property. Like, you can't shoot a person in that situation unless you feel like your life is threatened. I'm pretty sure a taser wouldn't do it. It's like, so what do you do if you're trying to, it seemed like he was trying to get back in his car because he was half in and half out of his car. One of the girls was in the driver's seat, took off. the car, and there's a very graphic video. The car hits a little metal median, like a pole, and the door slams into him, probably causing the initial injury. And then they take off down the street, turn a corner out of the video, and then they flip the car.
He flies out.
He flies out and is like mangled on the sidewalk, and the girls are climbing out of the passenger's window because now the car is turned over. Some National Guard members are there to help them get out, and I couldn't hear it in the video, but I was told that like that the girls were deranged trying to get back in the cars because they wanted their cell phones, and clearly
That's
the man
dark.
died. So it's like, at that, like, I mean, he was an immigrant from Pakistan, and he was driving Uber, and I assume he didn't want his car stolen or wouldn't relinquish it to them because, you know, that's his only means of making money. Like, even if you have insurance, are you really getting your car back? Like, and it's like, so he fought for it, and he lost his life, and he had a wife and children. So it's like, what do you do in that kind of situation? Like,
Well, I'm of the opinion that if someone has a drop on you and they want a material thing, it's already theirs, man. Let that shit go. I know that it's hard to stay in that situation because he is a Uber driver. He is not from this country, so it's hard for people that are immigrants. And it's no shade, it's true. It's hard. We have a hard enough time. We don't, as a country, like immigrants, we don't treat them right. I mean, look at the fucking border situation. So I get that. But if someone has the drop on you and they want your shit, just let it fucking go. And as a martial artist, we got to be aware of our surroundings. Like, I don't know the backstory, but man, like, they were able to get into his car. They had a taser, and he still wouldn't let go.
13 and 15-year-old girl too, which is
crazy. So in his mind, he's probably like, I'm gonna overpower them. But now they have the drop, they're in the car, and it's sad because he must have really needed that car. He must have really felt pressed to have it, and rightfully so. And he just held on for dear life, and then it kind of resulted in his death. I feel like if he just let him have it, they would have gotten arrested. And now those girls are going to jail, prison.
I mean,
And I don't
it'd be
really
interesting to see what happens. Because, like, as a teacher and somebody that works with kids in DC, to me, it's just about, like, 13, I don't know, like, 13 and 15, like, you could have gone through so much shit. And there's so many young drug users, people addicted to lean, people on perks. It's like, it seemed like a kind of like almost a like normal thing. Like, I wasn't too shocked like that two girls so young would have the audacity just like what to tase your Uber driver in the afternoon. This was like 2:00 in the afternoon. Like, what were you doing, or what were you on that, like, or were you, I don't know. It's interesting.
One of the quotes in one of the articles I read said that they wanted to jack a car. Because I think that's a new thing now in DC. Like the carjacking is up on the rise. It's more than just from this story, but I've been hearing it lately for the last couple months that carjackings in the DMV in DC is like on the rise, like it's New Jersey Drive. All my old heads, you know that movie. So it's very disturbing. 13 and 15 years old, and I'm glad I know martial arts. I am very glad that I know people and was brought up in the martial arts by people that have had situations where they have been home invaded or people have tried to attack them, and they always reiterated to us that you got to keep your head on a swivel. Know your 360. You guys got to be street smart. Part of being a martial artist is not just knowing how to fight, but self-defense or being precautious and knowing what you're doing. And always being ready. I sound crazy to some of my friends when I say some of the things I say, like, I always try to know where the exit is. I always do my 360. I'm always ready to go. Part of the reason why I started doing kickboxing was that I know that sometimes you're going to have to give somebody a one-hitter quitter. And if you're fighting multiple people, you don't want to just be a grappler. You want to be able to strike. Hit 1-2, move to the next guy, 1-2, or be able to move and be in shape. That's all about it. And what's really weird, what you mentioned, is they were fighting to get back to the car so they could get their cell phones back. Now, maybe they wanted to get their cell phones so that they couldn't get traced, or maybe they were just super pressed so they could keep talking about it or whatever.
I think, like, my experience with kids is, like, you just want your cell phone. It's like a coping mechanism. It's like your everything. You're just so used to having your phone. Like, yeah, like,
it's like,
and it's wild
it's like
to
a
think.
pacifier
It's like
for
you
adults.
could have such disregard for human life, and, like, you know, what really blows me is, like, what happened to these girls that they have such disregard for human life, that they were 13, jacking a car. Like, I could easily see that. I know plenty of people who have lost their parents by 13, or been on drugs by that age, and it's like, you know, Tim said he was glad that he was a martial artist. You know, like, what makes me glad is that people are inserting programs, like martial arts programs, in the community for kids like these. Like, the work that people do in schools, like Project Grapple. There's another organization in New York. We talked to my boy Fernando. Like, those are the things that kind of keep 13-year-old girls, like, off of the streets. If they don't have any kind of group or an adult to click with, once their parents become drug addicts, or once they're in the system and they're in group homes where, like, other kids are robbing them and getting, like, beating their ass, like, 13-year-old is going through that every day, and that's, like, a consistent reality from them. Like, yeah, those are the 13-year-olds that are jacking up Uber drivers or robbing you at gunpoint. Like, and it's sad, but people don't like to think back into the situations, like, that really need to be rectified in the city. Like, there's a lot of that stuff that goes on. I was teaching class the other day. There's, like, projects right behind my house. There was, like, automatic spray, and then I wasn't sure if it was guns, and the police rolled up, and then I was just like, all right, back to teaching, you know? Like, that's just what it is.
Well, I just want to say rest in peace for the guy who passed away, Muhammad Anwar. Rest in peace. Sad situation that we're in. Rest in peace to George Floyd too. You know, it's just a lot of dark stuff going on. You know, and it's just very sad that people gotta feel that they have to do these type of things to survive, or think it's okay to do. And it's even worse that people think it's okay to make light of it. So that's all I really got to say about it. Just keep your head on a swivel, people. Like, it's dark times. People's ribs is touching. It's hard out here. We've been having a pandemic. We not getting no stimuluses like that. You know, not everybody gets that money back from the IRS when they try to rob you for your hard-earned money, you know. So just like, man, I just burned sage today just to get all the evil demons out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, burn your
get
sage.
your oils. I got my lemongrass, my eucalyptus.
Your gems, your stones.
My THC.
Talk to your ancestors, all that good stuff. Nico, anything else you want to add?
No, just, you know, times are hard. Look out for your friends. Check in on your friends. Spend your money locally. Support people you fuck with.
Yeah, well, you can find me at Tim Spriggs BJJ on Instagram and on Facebook. You can also see me on patreon.com/BJJ Goons. You can see me and Nico there. We got 3 tiers. We got the little homie, the big homie, and the certified goon tier. You want to know what you get on each tier? I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you to go to patreon.com/BJJ Goons. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share our videos. And even if you're a hater and you talking shit, that's fine. You're still watching, you know? And it's all good. But be prepared, because if you say something disrespectful, I'm going to tell you to suck my dick. And I may or may not take the first flight, not Spirit Airlines, to your town. Nico, anything else to leave?
Make sure you slide on over to www.favelajujitsu.com. I got some new merch coming out. We're coming out with some jackets, might have some new hats. I'm trying to get them to get some hats right now. They're trying to call me from Rio. They're driving me crazy. Make sure you follow the BJJ Goons Instagram. We're going to be dropping some deals on merch there. Plus, we have a shitty amount of followers. Could you all please try to get us up to 1,000 for the love of God?
Yeah, let's get to 1,000 and then 10,000, because we need to be able to do a swipe up on the Instagram. We need to swipe up. Why do they only let people that have 10,000 do the swipe up?
Clout, son, clout. But, you know, go follow them. You already follow me, so it is what it is.
Yes. This has been the BJJ Goons podcast. Peace.
Us.